I'll take this hair gel. You never know when you'll need a touch-up. I've got some things I need to do.
See ya.
Malia.
Mr. Knight, what are you doing here?
My family's tomb is here.
Mine too.
I noticed. Subtle.
Well, Mr. Knight, if there's nothing else.
Don't go. I need to talk to you.
Whatever for.
I can't stop thinking about you. I've been in your thoughts too. I can see it in your eyes.
Mr. Knight, you don't know anything about me. I'm not in a position to get involved.
I've said that a million times myself, but this is different. I think we both know we can't fight it. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this.
I have so many obligations. My family is very traditional. You wouldn't understand.
Hey, I love tradition. I've seen Fiddler on the Roof 100 times.
This isn't a musical, Mr. Knight. We live in different worlds.
Look, I know you've got more money than God. Do you think I care? Do you think that's why I'm saying this?
No, I don't.
Why don't you come see my world? I have a little bookshop, St. George's on Bourbon.
I know.
See? I knew it. You're crazy about meat.
I'm sorry, but there's no place for someone like you in my life. Not now, not ever.
Damn it! Hi.
The sign say, special sign.
Lanyard.
Mr. Knight, how nice to see you.
My pleasure, I'm sure.
Please, be seated.
Could I ask you if you...
Of course.
What's this?
St. John's, there is always a tradition, but in the old days, sometimes in the swamp.
Tell me about
I saw them used once or twice when I was younger, but
Too close. To what?
just bad karma.
Tell me about...
I don't know what else.
Well, I guess I'll be gone now.
Open your mind and heart, and the way will be clear to you.
I'll give it my best shot. Hi. Can I...
Whatever, man.
Do you know anything about...
Like the ones in the voodoo rituals they do for the...
Right.
I used to sell a few. And the only one left is Willie Jr.
About Willie... $100? You've got to be kidding.
Me and Willie Jr. very close.
Would you take...
Don't ins...
Come on, boys. Hoopla!
Madam Lorelei down.
Not a bad idea.
Madam Lorelei winks knowingly at Gabriel and twitches her head.
Yep, she wants me.
Thanks, boys.
Gabriel doesn't want to take that. The veil, the magnifying glass. Gabriel examines the veil with a magnifying. That sequin looks so... The fortune teller's veil is... Gabriel carefully uses the... Gabriel mapped the iridescent scale.
Could I ask you a few questions, Madame Lorelei?
The only answers I give are given in my reading. I'm sure your palm would be quite interesting.
Could I ask you a few questions?
The only answers I give are given...
How about a reading?
The prices are listed on the sign.
They seem a little steep.
Well, I sometimes do my intimate friends for nothing. But I am a businesswoman.
I'm sure you are. Could you just do a short reading for an intimate friend?
Darling, you toy with me. If I thought you were serious. But no, I must stay.
That's a nice snake.
I could say...
Well, I know where I got... Did you lose a veil?
Huh, my veil. I'm always loose. Well, darling, you're such a sweetie to return a lady's delicates, and so handsome as well.
Well,
And since you have such a clear interest in fortune-telling, let me see your hands. They look so strong. Perhaps they will make both our fortunes clear, no?
I wish something would.
Strong. Yes and no, yet so delicate and, flexible.
You don't know the half of it.
Oh, good. I see a mysterious woman in your immediate future.
Madame Lorelei winks at Gabriel knowingly.
She is a danger.
The blood drains from Madame Lorelei's face in an instant. Sweat beads on her upper lip.
Are you okay?
No.
Oh, God! Beware!
What is it about me lately? I can't read. You've already got me, you lucky devil.
The black shirt won't do Gabriel much good the way it is. This is the that item cannot be. It's a priest's shirt. It's a priest's shirt.
The things I do for my art. I'm not going back on the street looking like this.
There's not much. There's not much. There's not. There's no reason. It looks like the lecture is just starting. Gabriel decides to record the session.
Voodoo is the tribal religion of Africa, but the name Voodoo is actually a banner heading under which resides an entire body of distinct tribal belief systems. The word voodoo may sound familiar to you. What is known in the States as voodoo is actually an amalgamation of African religious systems, voodoo, and European religions, primarily Catholicism. Some of these spirits are elementals. Some relate to specific tasks or places. Some represent important tribal leaders who have died. This spirit worship is what makes voodoo so easily adaptable. With all those spirits, it's no problem to add a few more. Say, for example, the Virgin Mary. At the height of tribal Africa, warfare was common. One tribe would conquer another, and the Loa, important in the conqueror's tribal system, would be adopted readily into the conquered tribe's Loa pantheon. In this way, many of the voodoo cults spread and mingled throughout tribal Africa, enriching the belief system and causing it. The basis for the voodoo religion seems to be as old as man himself. It has much in common with many early pagan practices: animal totems, sympathetic magic, elemental spirits in the trees, the heavens, the bodies of the sick. Africa is believed by many to be the cradle of the human race. Some of the voodoo Loa may be as old as we still can't explain some of the real power of these primal religions. And note, I said primal, not primitive. There are African Bokors who baffle our scientists with their supernatural powers. Now, let's discuss the elements of voodoo.
Fascinating guy.
In voodoo, the spirits are called the Loa. During a voodoo ceremony, celebrants are possessed by the Loa. This is called being ridden. The human worshiper is seen as a horse, and the Loa as the divine horseman. A person being ridden by a Loa takes on the characteristics of that spirit and becomes, in effect, merely a vessel for the more powerful entity. Some of the older, original Africa Loa include Dambala, the great serpent god; Ezruli, the mistress of love; Abanebo, or Gede, the lord of death; Agwe, the spirit of water; Legba, spirit of the crossroads; and the cruelest and most dangerous, Ogun Badagri, the lord of destruction.
I gotta get more sleep at night.
A tribe-specific Loa can have as much or more power as the more widely worshipped Loa. For instance, a particular tribe might revere highly the Loa of an ancestor who was a legendary hunter or politician. Voodoo temples are called Hounfours. Their priests, Hungan or Bokors. Their priestesses, Mama Loa. In a Voodoo Hounfour, there's a ritual circle marked by a center pole called a Poto Mitan. The ritual circle is prepared with a veve, a pattern of symbols. Each tribe's veve is slightly different, consisting of complex symbols that identify their special Loa. During ritual conclaves, initiates dance under the supervision of a Bokor and a Mama Loa, or head priestess. The use of totems or animal masks and markings was not uncommon in the original African ceremonies. Now, though, all but the oldest sects have abandoned this practice. Ritual objects used during the conclaves include the ritual gourd or asson, the ritual knife or kubasa.
That knife gives me the chills.
The ritual whip or fouet kash. And the ritual coffin or seke madule. These items are often optional, called for by the Mama Loa for specific magical rituals. The Mama Loa is the most powerful figure in any Voodoo sect. Voodoo is a truly matriarchal system. Even the Bokor knows his power is limited. Mama Loa is the supreme woman. She butterflies, fireflies.
Firelight. No, what is it? Gabriel?
What? I can't see.
Gabriel, get in.
Can't. It's too small for me.
You must get in, Gabriel.
It's not mine. Too small.
Hide, Gabriel, hide.
No, no, let me out.
Young man, the lecture is over.
Oh my God.
Are you a student?
No. My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Well, you have walked into my private office, Mr. Knight. I hope you have something worthwhile to do here. If you figure it out, let me know.
Mind if I pick your brain?
Not if it will get you out of my office.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
You already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight. Perhaps next time you could stay awake and learn something.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
You already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight.
What can you...
You already...
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I've read about them in the papers. I must admit, to some interest. But according to the newspapers, the voodoo aspect is faked, so I haven't really pursued it. You know how Americans, especially Hollywood, treats voodoo. I'm sure there are many so-called practitioners out there that have...
What do you...
As I said, I don't know anything but what the papers say.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I find it interesting to see the occasional fragment of voodoo practices in the everyday culture of New Orleans.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm not a zoologist, Mr. Knight, but I know all I care to about reptiles.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It's June 23rd, the feast day of St. John the Baptist. But June 23rd has been a sacred day since the earliest times. Ancient sun worshippers used to roll a flaming wheel down a hill to celebrate the sun's descent on that day.
A burning wheel? Huh. Do you have any idea what Cabri sans Coeur means?
Cabri sans Coeur? Yes, I do. It's a Haitian term, I believe. It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
As in a female goat?
No, as in a human sacrifice. Sacrifices in voodoo are usually of the animal variety. Chickens, wolves, goats. If the gods demand a goat without horns, it means a human being.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
While I find the colloquial bastardizations of voodoo somewhat interesting from a sheerly intellectual point of view, there's not a lot of relation between people like Laveau and true voodoo practices.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
As I said in my lecture, which I assume you actually listened to, is that animal masks, totems, are used extensively in most African voodoo religions.
Tell me about bebés.
If you'd taken notes during my lecture, you wouldn't have to ask.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
I'm afraid I can't help you there, Mr. Knight.
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
It's very rare. Most voodoo practices do not include human sacrifice as a matter of record, but it is theoretically possible if that... For example, one of the chants I had translated for me from a Haitian ritual went like this. Mistress Azuli, come and aid us. If a cock is demanded, we will give it. If a bull will suffice, behold it. But if a goat without horns is required for sacrifice, oh, where will we find one? Azuli is the gentlest of Loa, so they call on her for mercy. But I have seen grown and powerful Hungan tremble before a possession by one of the more violent Loa, such as Apanivo. Clearly, they are afraid that something of the sort will be ordered, or that the Loa will simply take it for themselves.
Tell me about yourself.
All right, Mr. Knight, I'm 35, a fully tenured professor at this university, as well as a fellow at Cambridge. My doctorate was obtained at Syracuse. Yes, Syracuse, in religious studies. I'm an agnostic, but I find human belief systems fascinating. I specialize in African religions because I grew up there. My father was a Protestant missionary. And I am
No.
Fine.
I'd really...
There have been several articles written about me, Mr.
I'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Well, you never know when All right, but this is private. The things I do for my art.
Yes?
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
Father McLaughlin, you say? You must be new in the parish.
Thank you, my child.
Please be seated, Father.
Thank you.
Now, what can I...
Do you mind if I ask you a few...
Of course not, mon père.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? I am Creole. Real New Orleanians are French, you see. These days the city, but the French, naturellement, will always be the true blood.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, Father, I don't know.
Have you ever heard...
No, Father.
Do you know anything about...
No, Father.
Do you know anything about...
No, Father.
Do you know any...
Oh, her? I could... My great-grandmother was an...
Tell me more
No, I won't say anything.
Do you have any...
Mais oui.
Of course.
I wasn't born yesterday, Father. I won't tell you what it means if you...
About...
Well, are you going to tell me?
It means goat without horns.
Oh, Father, you surprise me. You know what they mean by goat without...
That Cabri...
Do not continue.
What can you...
St. John's Eve? Mais oui, I used to...
They? They who?
Oh.
What can you tell me?
I don't think I...
Do you know an...
Snakes! They...
Right. What can you tell me?
The only true Norle. My family were among the Creole society. Used to be so gay in Orleans. Now it barely hangs on by its fingernails.
What can you tell me?
You know, I can stroll the streets of the French Quarter and see in my mind's eye the way it used to be. It was...
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Voodoo murders? Ha! They are nothing new to me, Father. They happen all the time. I hardly go out anymore. It's too dangerous in the streets. They can get you anywhere, you know. Even here in this room. But I try not to let them know about me.
What do you know about... What can you tell me about voodoo?
People think I'm just a foolish voodoo. People are all over. Spit on your bread at the bakery. Take strands, but I know their ways, so I can
Tell me more about voodoo.
It's just...
Do you know anything?
Well, my great-grandmother...
Can you tell...
What is there to tell?
Can you...
What is...
Who were the real...
well, it's been the same one for almost 200 years. She's head of a secret voodoo. The real voodoo queen controlled Lavo.
Is there anything else you remember?
Well, my great...
Is there anything else?
well, they are...
Tell me more about this secret voodoo hound fool.
Well, I've never... But we shouldn't talk about it. They'll hear us. It's the devil's work that happened. I'll show you something.
I swear on my...
Here it is, mon père. A true object of evil.
It radiates.
It belonged to my great-grandmother. She told my mother that...
You don't say.
To tell you the truth, I always felt nervous about having it in the house. You know, evil influence and all.
Oh, I can see how you would, yes.
And yet, I could never part. Would you bless it for me, Father? I feel...
Bless this bracelet of a snake. Even though it's foil, let it do nobody harm when they wear it on their arm.
Gabriel has a thought.
Bless, oh bless this circlet of silver. Take the curse, oh take it, Wilbur.
A lovely blessing, mon père.
Yes, I think it made a lasting impression. Here you go. Well, madame.
Of course.
Hey, Grace. Here I am.
What?
Do you have messages?
Nope.
Could you do
Sure. What?
I have a pattern I need you to...
How interesting.
It's a reconstruction of the trace...
Ugh.
Well, wear your evil banishing gloves.
I'll see what I can find.
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Do you know... Do you know...
I'd really rather not.
Do you know any...
In New Orleans?
I think...
No,
Would I do that? Are you... See you later.
Don't hurry back on my account.
Gabriel, my...
Nice to see you too, Gran.
Make yourself at home, son.
This is the last page of inventory.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Do you know anyone named Wolfgang Ritter?
As I said, your granddad's surname was... I never learned much about his family, but from things he said, I always thought he had a... I don't know if...
Do you know anyone named Wolfgang Ritter?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Do you know...
What, dear?
Never mind. Do you know any...
Why, no, dear.
Never mind. Tell me so...
Your
Tell me about...
Your father, Philip.
Tell me about my...
Your...
Well, Gran, I better get going.
All right, dear.
Lucy, I'm home.
Really? I forgot you were gone.
3 snakes in a skull.
What a wacky, offbeat kind of guy Daddy was.
Hey, kids.
Bruno! How nice.
Gee,
Of yours? Hardly.
How's the flower business?
Well, better than the used book business, I see. Rare. That explains why I so rarely see anyone in here.
how much would you give me for it, Bruno?
Gabriel.
Stay out of this, Grace.
Ooh, you're
Yeah, I'll let you have it, all right. How much?
Well, I could give you 100. That's all I can let go at the moment, you know. My fares are so tied up.
Gabriel, $100?
Grace, let me deal with this. Fine.
Gabriel!
Here's the 100.
You better take good care of this, Bruno.
Really? Well, I fully intend to make the most of its display, though not for your sake, I'm sure. At least in my... I can't believe I actually got it. Just wait until I show...
It's just a... I'm out of here.
Have fun.
Hi. Can I ask you just if...
Whatever, man.
Are you still...
Or you show me $100,
Are you still...
or you show me
I have $100. You still want to sell that?
That's $100, sure.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Don't you go forgetting your lagniappe.
The sign said
Well, I wasn't thinking a man as young as you.
Oh, that's all right. Believe me, I don't need it. I'll just... I don't need it.
Of course you...
Could I ask you a few quick?
Sure.
What can you tell me about...
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly... In other words,
What can you tell me about...
see those old guys at the chess table? That Sam? The one with the... It's not that he's a bad...
Tell me about the street...
I like music as much as the next... Like that drum... I like drums, but this character really... It sounds like the same thing over and over.
Sounds like my... What can...
I'd call you a regular, Gabe. And one of our local writers.
Don't hold your breath. What can you...
That's about all I can...
Tell me about this...
Don't know what else...
Gabriel has no...
Excuse me. I hate to interrupt.
But Gabe, he's right, you know, so...
Are you sure I can't bother you?
Mister, please, I'm trying to... Yeah!
Nothing like a good game of chess, huh?
Yeah, well, this isn't a good...
Oh well. Have fun.
Gabriel has...
Does this mean...
Yeah, get away from... You're a so...
Could you do anything with this?
What is this? Interesting. I am a jeweler, you know. But I'm retired. I'm gonna sit right here in this... Ah! You're planning to be married?
Gabriel...
Are you sure I can't bother...
Mister, please! Yeah! Shut up, you
What do you guys do when you're not playing chess?
I used to be a jeweler. Marcus here was a butcher. Now we just sit. Actually...
Hi, how's it going?
It's been worse.
Could I ask you... What can you tell me about...
That's about all I can...
Do you know...
Never heard of it.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Come Mardi Gras, you see all kinds of masks in here.
Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound fool? Well, if there are, I don't think anyone... Have you ever...
Sure.
Does the...
You know what...
I don't...
Oh.
What's the significance?
All I know...
What's the significance?
People who believe...
Do you know any...
What about them? Man, you ask the weirdest questions. I don't know anything about snakes.
What can you tell me?
Greatest city in...
What do you know about...
It's all over the paper.
What do you know?
They say...
What can you...
Voodoo. Some people do. That guy Sam, the chess player? Oh, he's really into voodoo.
Really? So what has Sam told...
Well, about 50 years. He went to a voodooine and had her... Well, he buried the pouch. Now she's his wife. Poor guy.
So what...
That's about all.
Excuse me.
But he's right.
Got a second, Sam? It's about your game.
I don't have a game. That's my problem.
I ain't never needed to cheat yet, you loser.
Thought you might be interested in this gambling oil.
Let me see that. Master gambling oil. What's it for?
This is a powerful voodoo oil.
Ah, go on. Really?
Don't...
Marcus? Using voodoo? That old bastard.
Pitiful, isn't it?
Let me see that bottle. Oh, this looks authentic.
Oh, it is.
If I could really beat that bastard. Stonewall, give me a Pim's cup, would you?
Coming up, Sam.
How much you think I'd put in here?
Careful. You don't...
Ha! There's no such thing as too much. Now stand back.
Come on already. I'm ready to checkmate.
We'll see about that, Mr. Schmutty Big Mouth. Checkmate!
Son of a bitch.
20 years I've been waiting to say that. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate! Checkmate!
You can just put this chessboard with us, son.
Hallelujah, I did it! Yippee!
Nice game.
Nice close. I gotta give some of the credit to that old... I've been losing to that guy.
Will do. Could you do anything with...
What is this? Well, I am a jeweler, you know. And I owe you one. Would you like me to cast this for you?
If you can.
You got it, pal. Actually, it'll be a pleasure to get my tools out. First time in years. I've been too busy playing that goddamn game. I'll have the bracelet tomorrow.
Great. Fine.
It's getting late.
Excuse me. I'm going inside.
Oh, excuse me, I'm afraid St. George's is closed for the day.
I'm not a customer. I'm here to see the owner.
Why don't you just leave your name and number with me, and I'll tell him you stopped by.
Listen, if Gabriel is here, he'll want to see me. Is he here?
Really couldn't say for certain, but in the morning...
Gracie, say goodnight.
Ugh.
You came. I didn't think you would.
I didn't think I would either.
Your eyes. Oh, I could show you around a little. It's not much, but...
Please, don't. I couldn't...
Yeah, I know. God, what is it about you?
Just shut up and kiss me.
You're not speaking to me this morning?
Don't be silly. I just have nothing to say.
Did you find out anything about that?
Yeah, I did find something. I checked the microfiche at the public library.
You're incredible. All that work.
Forget it.
Have it your way. I don't believe this. They've closed the gate.
What case?
The voodoo.
That's not good.
It's ridiculous. What about the killers? And the voodoo angle? They never got anything on that.
I know you were into it, Gabriel.
You don't get it, Grace. Just for...
Gabriel decides to check his heart. death walks close to you today, resist temptation, lest his eye fall on you too.
Pete?